one of the cool things is I get to read lots of random stuff, and so here's a prayer written by someone by the name of Walter Brueggemann. Let's pray. God of our times, our years, our days, you are the God of our work, of our rest, of our weariness. Our times are in your hands. We come to you now in our strength, in our weaknesses, in our hope and in our despair, in our buoyancy and in our distress. We come to you, pray for ourselves and all who are like us, who seek and yearn for life anew, with you and from you and for you. So we pray with our mothers and fathers, come, Lord Jesus. We wait for your coming with all the graciousness we can muster. Amen. Kia ora, everyone. Hi, I'm Matt. I am one of the other people on staff here at RBC. I have the privilege of hanging out with lots of young people, which means I'm not normally in this space. I'm normally down below or somewhere else doing some cool things. So things may be a little bit different today because I don't really know what happens here on a Sunday morning when Murray talks. So, first off, can you put your hand up if you have had or have currently a friend, someone who is significant to you? So, has anyone ever had a friend? Yes? Ooh, yep, awesome. Okay, it's a great start. Okay, keep your hands up, and what's going to happen is by a process of elimination, I want to see basically who has had the longest friendship. Yeah? So, have you had a friend for more than 1 week? Keep your hands up, take them down if it doesn't apply to you. You've had a friend for longer than 1 month, 1 year, 5 years. Have you had a friendship that lasted longer than 8 years? 10 years? 15 years? 20 years? 30 years? 40 years? 45? 50? 55? 60? 65? 70? 75? Oh, wow. Can I ask how long? 75 years, wow. That's pretty cool. So if you haven't picked it up yet, today we're going to be looking in the book of Proverbs, and we're going to be talking about friendship and kind of be looking at friendship in the Bible. And so I think a place for us to start is to ask the question, what makes a good friend? Like, what is it that allows a friendship to last for 75 years? And so we're going to dive into asking that question, looking in the book of Proverbs as well, and then kind of feeding back together. Why don't we start with maybe the wisest people among us? So I thought for today, to get us rolling on that question, we're going to ask the wisest people. So I got a video of some young people answering that very question. So hopefully this is going to work.
What makes a good friend?
A friend is somebody who you meet up with often.
When people play with you. Always hugs me.
A good friend is someone who picks you up when you fall, makes you laugh, plays with you whenever you're sad, and would just do lots of things for you.
Helping you and just being kind.
Give them some of my toys. To be kind to each other and you don't argue. Or if they listen to you very nicely, we can play with them, or we can play with somebody else. When you be kind to them and you never argue with them.
Accepting for who you are and what you're doing every day.
If they're kind to you, if you're ever like sad or angry.
He's always been there for me to help me.
If you're playing the game, you can let them join in. If they don't want to, you can just say if you want to join in, you can.
I think mates are good friends, that they take care of you, and if you fall over, they help you, they pick you up. I think a good friend makes you happy and is always lovely to you, and it's always like funny and nice to you.
Are you a good friend?
I actually don't know, but I've got a lot of friends in the class who know that.
What makes a good
Awesome. I hope that helped you with your inspiration as to what makes a good friend. We're actually going to get the whiteboard out here. We're going to write out all the list, basically make a big collection of all the things we think make a good friend. So I really want to hear some feedback, so hopefully this works. What makes a good friend? Do you want to sing out? Yeah. Bring your mic.
There's a Bible verse which says, a friend loves at all times and a brother is born for adversity.
So to summarize that, Grace, awesome. Someone who cares. Say that again. Non-judgmental. Awesome. Loves enough to say the hard stuff.
Somebody can talk with and who's interested.
So someone who's kind of engaging with you, sort of interested in you and your life. Yeah. Someone who accepts you. Awesome.
You can tell them everything and feel safe.
So someone who understands and is compassionate no matter what. Yeah. I think that's great. Yeah. So someone who's forgiving, sort of willing to forgive. Yeah. Oh, someone who looks outside the square. Cool. Okay. It's a few. Any? Awesome. Yes. That's so cool. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Brings the best out of you. Yeah, that's awesome. Cool. Yeah, carries on. Are the slides working, Kevin? Are we going to? Okay, awesome. Cool. Okay, these are some amazing ideas and kind of a good way to start as we talk about friendship. Last week, Murray spoke. I wasn't here, but I presume he spoke about Proverbs. And he talked about kind kind of the book of Proverbs and kind of give a bit of an outline. And so today we're going to look into the book of Proverbs, just focusing on friends. And so we're going to pick and choose a few different verses to try and get a bit of an understanding about friendship through the book of Proverbs. The book of Proverbs, it's a collection of writings, of sayings, which is very contextual and very helpful, but isn't always true. And so we're going to read them all together to try and see what we might be missing from our list. So if you have a Bible, feel free to open it. Otherwise, look at the screen. We have quite a few to go through. So let's see, as we go through the verses, is there anything else on these that we might be missing from our list so far? Okay, so chapter 17, a friend loves at all times, and the brother is born for a time of adversity. I really need water. Have we got that on the board so far? Yep. Cool. Okay, next one. Jumping back to chapter 12, righteousness chooses their friends carefully, but the way of the wicked leads them astray. Have we got anything about choosing our friends on that? Does this verse have anything to say about friends or friendships for us today? What's that? Someone who keeps you on track. Yep. If my handwriting was any good, I'd write it down, but mine is really bad, if you don't mind. Yes, please. Okay, the next verse. Walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm. Does this verse have anything to speak about friendship? Yeah, so bringing the best out of people, bringing the best out of you. So kind of the negative side. Cool, next verse. The poor are shunned even by their neighbours, but the rich have many friends. What does this verse have to say about friendship? Cool. Next verse. A perceiving person stirs up conflict, and a gossip separates close friends. So kind of dividing of friends, so that again the opposite of friendship. Yep. Okay. There's a lot to go through, guys. So next one again. Whoever would foster love covers over an offence, but whoever repeats the matter separates close friends. Forgiveness. Yep. Next one. A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for a time of adversity. Did we have this already? Yep. Okay, next one. A brother wronged is more unyielding than a fortified city. Disputes are like the barred gates of a citadel. What is a citadel? Oh, cool. Yes, we will get into that shortly. Yeah, okay. So in the book of Proverbs and in other parts of the Bible, there are kind of overlaps between brother, between friend, between neighbour. They kind of share a lot of the words together, and so it's really hard to determine if it's talking about a neighbour, if it's talking about a friend, or a family member. It's kind of the people we care about or the people we're close to. So yeah. Anything? Next one. One who has unreliable friends soon comes to ruin, but there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother. Does that have anything? Reliability? Yep. Awesome. Okay, next one. Wealth attracts many friends, but even the closest friend of the poor person deserts them. What does this have to say about friends? Unconditional? Yeah. Yes. Okay, next verse. Many curry favor with a ruler, and everyone is the friend of one who gives gifts. What is it? Yes, there you go. You might have heard of something. So, not all of these verses are actually helpful for understanding to be friends. Some are really conflicting with each other. Yeah. Does it? We can do that. And does this verse have anything to do with friends? No? Should we go to the next one? Many claim to have unfailing love, but a faithful person who can find? Kind of talking about the deeper level of knowing people. Yep, okay. Next.
It's hard to be real friends, and we can always be real with
Cool. Okay, next one. A gossip betrays a confidence, so avoid anyone who talks too much. What does this have to do about friends? Choose well. Yeah, choose friends well. Okay, next one. One who loves a pure heart and who speaks with grace will have the king for a friend. Does this have anything to do with friends? Sincere, genuine, yep. Okay, we're nearly at the end. Next one, yep. Do not make friends with a hot-tempered person. Do not associate with one easily angered. Does this have anything to do with friends? Say that again. Level-headed. Yep. That is, a difficult situation then, sort of, yep. Yes? So people can change, sort of, yep. Cool. Okay, next verse. So that your trust may be in the Lord, I teach you today, even you. Oh. Like a broken tooth or a lame foot is reliant on the unfaithful in time of trouble. Nothing to do with friends? Good. Next one. Cool. Next one. Better is open rebuke than hidden love. Does this have anything to do with friendship? Yeah. Cool. I think we're nearly there. Perfume and incense bring joy to the heart, and the pleasantness of a friend springs from their heartful advice. Does this have anything to do with friends? Encouragement and appreciation, yes. That's cool. If anyone loudly blesses their neighbour early in the morning, it will be taken as a curse. Does this have anything to do with friendship? Act appropriately, yes. As iron sharpens iron, so another person sharpens another. So one person sharpens another. I think this got mentioned before. Yep, awesome. Nearly there. Two are better than one because they have a good return on their labour, which is not... Oh, we've jumped already. Okay, awesome. So that is the list of roughly all the times that friendship, neighbour, close family member is mentioned in Proverbs. Were they all helpful? No. Yeah. And that's the thing with Proverbs, is we're looking at these sayings for advice, to help guide us, but they're not always true. These are sayings of wisdom. They are not automatically truths. And I have jumped a page. For me, friendship has been great. It has been cool. There's been a few times in my life when I've had amazing friends. I remember being a 5-year-old and having great adventures with my friend Lockie. And we'd do everything and we'll go everywhere. It was like kindy and play dates and climbing trees and going on seesaws and all the fun things that a 5-year-old does. I have not seen that person since 5, but they've still had a big impact on my life. I had another friend who I was great friends with from the time I was about 6 until 11 years old. He was kind of cool and just, the person you wanted to hang out with, and always had like the coolest stuff at home, or got to go on ski trips with his family or go to like cool places. I even joined a choir so that I could hang out with him. I cannot sing, like really cannot sing. So I feel really bad for everyone else in that choir, but I joined a choir just to hang out with him. He had a big impact on my life. I've had another friend who has been kind of a friend for a longer period of time, and he was like at the wedding, and it's just kind of like been influential in my life. But he hasn't always been super close to me or always around. We've always done different things, but we've had shared experiences, and we're still friends. The thing with friends in this book that we're learning about is kind of what I'm wanting to stress is how important friends are. I find it really interesting that a book of sayings and writings went out of its way to write about friends. It's not something we often think about or talk about, but friends are important. I know it's really cliche or simple, but they have influence over our lives. Friends have a tremendous amount of influence. And so the book of Proverbs is kind of giving us guidelines as to what makes a good friend. And as you kind of notice as we were looking through the verses, it also gave examples of what made a bad friend. And so as we read through the book of Proverbs, we get to see both aspects. One of the cool things with Proverbs is it's quite simple. It has just either or. It's either wise or foolish. It's either righteous or wicked. And so my challenge is as you read the book of Proverbs and you notice friends, hopefully, you get to see that more and more, that we want to be on the side of the friend who is acting wisely or bringing righteousness to their friends. The thing is, though, friends can also hurt you. Because they are so influential, they also can equally hurt you. I wish that the book of Proverbs had how-to guides on how to have faith in Aotearoa in the 21st century for us today. I wish it was a point-by-point, this is what you do, this is how you have friends. It doesn't give that. It gives us kind of advice as to how to live. People influence us for the good, and it's cool, and you can think about that and have the fond memories of like 75 years of friendship, but they also can be negative. For me, my friendship with the really cool friend who I got to do some really cool things with and even join a choir, that friendship ended one afternoon. I don't even know why. We argued. We, as 12-year-olds, 11-year-olds, just full on just went, no, we're not friends anymore. And I haven't talked to him since. Friends have influence over us. Martin Luther King, when he was in the thick of his kind of desire to see change and of the civil rights movement in southern parts of America, in the very middle of it, he was marching and going from place to place. And he was a person who was calling on people to be there with him, to kind of march with him. And instead, no other kind of pastors or leaders or his friends or colleagues were with him. And so one day when he was arrested and beaten, he wrote a letter which is called the Letters from Birmingham Jail. And in that he quotes, "In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. Friends matter. Friends shape us." I think one of the really cool things about friends is, yes, how they get to do the good and influence and change us, but also they get to point us to something more. This is a bit of a leap, so please bear with me. But I think that friends are kind of more than just a friendship. I think that one of the reasons why friendship is kind of listed here in this book of wise sayings is in the small way it can point us to the God we worship. Yes, they influence us. Yes, they shape us. But they also point us to Jesus. There is a part of the New Testament which we only read either when you're like wanting to get back at someone or at Anzac or is kind of respectful. However, I think this also applies to us here today. And so I want to read you these words. It's coming from a friend. Words of care and support. If you're willing and able, can you close your eyes and hear these words? If you have amazing friends, these words are for you. If you have lost a close friend, hear these words. If you're struggling and have no one to call friend, hear these words. As the Father has loved me, so I have loved you. Now remain in my love. If you keep my commandments, you will remain in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commandments and remain in his love. I have told you this so that my joy in you may be, and that your joy may be complete. He continued to this: love each other as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. You are my friends if you do what I command. You are no longer servants, because a servant does not know his master's business. Instead, I have called you friends. Ruth talked about people caring for people. In the weeks coming, we'll find out more things from the book of Proverbs about how our lives influence other people. But the book of Proverbs doesn't mince its words about friends. It gives us wise sayings, but it also challenges us. And in a small way, points us to the one who calls us friend, no matter what. And that's the takeaway for today.